Welcome back to Like Us Pod. I'm your host, Erin, through these bonus play-by-play episodes of The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. Each week, we keep score on who is the most relatable housewife, and in the end, we will find out who is taking the diamond. Today is all about Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, episode 9, and let's get into it. But before we get into the episode, let's talk about this week's Hot Mic Confessional. Okay, you guys. This is really big news, but Erika Jayne knows about us. So this week, Erika Jayne actually favorited and liked my play-by-play recaps where I talk about the scorecard on my TikTok and on my Instagram Reels. And this is now the second time that Erika has favorited and liked the video, which means that one, she knows she's in first place, and two, maybe all of the housewives know that they're being scored. If you guys know that you're being scored and you're listening to this podcast, give me a sign. I am desperate to be invited to BravoCon. Oh my God, what if I kept score at BravoCon? What if there was a big scoreboard happening after every session and I was like the Vanna White of BravoCon, manifesting it? Amanda Francis, I need you. If someone from Bravo is listening to this podcast, help me. Okay, now let's get into the episode. So this episode 9, Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. So we start off the episode and Rachel is telling the girls who work for her that she just has to go to the Hamptons. And Rachel's been saying this all along. She's like, oh my God, I hate being in LA for work. This is the worst, blah, blah, blah. We gave her points for that last week. Now, Rachel, her version of working in the summer is that she's on a reality show, but still, she's has to hang out with her coworkers almost every single day. And she's had enough. She's like, let me at least take 2 coworkers with me to New York because I got to get out of here. So she calls Dory and she calls Kyle. She's like, look, I don't like mean girl petty shit, so these girls have to figure it out. And I gave Rachel the first like us point of the episode here because I also don't like mean girl petty shit. I don't have time for friends to be beefing. If you were beefing at the wedding, you should have stayed beefing at the wedding. You know what I mean? And that's what Rachel's saying. She's like, if you were beefing in LA, you should have stayed beefing in LA. Don't be bringing that into Hamptons, because if you can't go to the Hamptons, then where can you go?
If you can't go to Better No Chase, where the hell could you go?
That's Rachel. And so Rachel invites Dory and Kyle, and Kyle's like, well, if it's not a good time, I'm gonna leave, which is one way to handle the invite. And Dory is like, oh my God, I could cry because I'm invited, which is the other way to handle the invite. We move forward, and Amanda is also planning a party. Now the thing is I feel like Amanda is too aware that this is like a marketing machine. It's like, why is she talking to her assistant? She's like, and then we're going to pass out my book, Richest. Like, naming the book in that moment is like, you're too aware of the cameras and too aware that everything is like a marketing moment. Oh my God, hear me saying moment. I'm like, everything's a moment. We're going to have a meditation moment. I'm going to go on a little rant for a second about meditating. I'm sorry in advance. I don't even know how long this rant's going to be. It wasn't in my notes, but I feel compelled to just say, you don't need to pay someone month to month to teach you how to meditate. Now, if you want to pay for a subscription service that has guided meditations, fine. Calm app. If you want to listen to a podcast about meditating, I'm so good with that because I understand that guided meditation can be something that is so, so helpful. But if someone's telling you that you need them in order to meditate or have access to what's inside you, I'm sorry, baby, that's a grift. Learning how to meditate is something I don't think you need to pay for at all. I'm sorry. And let me tell you why. I've put in the hours on meditating. I used to live by the beach. I would do a beach walk and sit by one of the lifeguard towers in Santa Monica, look out into the ocean and meditate, okay? Meditating is a practice. What does it mean that meditation is a practice? It means at first you aren't going to be good at it and you're not going to know what you're really trying to do, right? But that's where, number one, you set the intention. This is the only meditation class you will ever need in your life, and then you don't have to get scammed online, okay? Number one is to set the intention. Your intention is to meditate. My intention is to look within. That's what meditating is. It's to look within and to find within, okay? What connected me to figuring out that meditation is accessible to everybody is I actually read online once when I was like 18 or 19 that meditating is just a form of prayer. So if your intention is to look within, to find an answer from the Christian ideology, Jesus Christ, who's in your heart, if you want to look within you, because that's where Christ is, that's where God is, that's where the universe is activated through you, whatever you want to call it, that voice within you, you can seek through meditation, through your meditation practice. And that is your intention. Now, all you have to do to get really good at meditating is to tell yourself, everything I need is within me. At first, you're going to be like, is everything I need within me? Oh my God, blah, blah. And you're going to try to look for outside reasons, outside things, external validation, all the things. You don't need that. Everything you need is within you. And you breathe into that. Everything I need is within me. And when you start, you could do a guided meditation. But at a certain point, even if you're only doing it for 2 minutes, because it's so hard to meditate, it's so hard to quiet your mind. So start in small increments, 60 seconds, 2 minutes, work yourself up to 5, 7, 15, okay? Work yourself into it. And your North Star can be everything I need is within me, or I am enough. Start with those 2 basic mantras and just see where you go. Just see where you go. The thing that most of these gurus are trying to teach, and grift a little bit, because why do you need it consistently, is they are banking on people looking for that external validation. But if you're meditating properly, you know that's within you. So sure, could you pay for an experience to be around people? Yeah, cool. Go to Bali, meditate on the mountaintop in the Himalayas. Like, you know what I mean? Go do that. That's cool. That's like the experience. But you don't need someone week in and week out over years of time where you're giving them so much money to like tell you that you are enough. Like, that's the antithesis of meditating, of manifestation. That's within you, babe. That's within you. Anyways, I don't mean to go too much on a tangent, but like the reason why people are upset with this grift is because it's a grift. Because if you're really manifesting and meditating and finding what's within you, you don't need the external. That's all I will say to that. Moving on. Amanda's hosting a party. She's hosting a lunch, and she's going to make all the girls manifest with her. And she FaceTimes everyone to invite them. And I like that Bose is the only honest person. She's like, why are we naming the party a manifestation moment? And I love that. The thing is like, I can't even believe that Amanda thought it was a good idea to like be like, yeah, let me invite all the women over who were successful and have them manifest together. It's like, I would be more on board with all of this, but I just feel like her character in general is missing like a little bit of grounding. Like, I feel like we're just missing something there, and it's hard to relate to Amanda. Even though ideologically I'm big on manifestation and meditation and all of the journaling, all of that. Like, ideologically, I understand where she's coming from, but like, it's not grounded in relatability or reality for me. Mauricio and Dorit go to lunch, and we finally see Mauricio working. He's like taking a phone call when Dorit arrives. But then like, here's the deal with this lunch. I don't think it made Dorit look particularly good, but it also didn't make Mauricio look good either. But it did make Dorit look like an unreliable narrator. And I think the problem with Dorit being an unreliable narrator is people already have issues with finding her to be authentic. I feel like this moment of Dorit that we're seeing on the show is the most authentic version of her. I still think that, all of that being said, I think it's very clear that Dorit is actually still protecting PK. And I cannot believe yet again that Mauricio has time to be in the business. And he's like, a 2-hour lunch with Dorit on camera, mic'd up. He's like, look, I gotta go to dinner with a client. It's like, yeah, get to work. We then see Sutton, and Sutton's on FaceTime with her daughter, who we haven't seen her daughter in a little while. And she's telling her daughter, I think that in the annulment where it says that my last name is Brown, and her daughter just like doesn't really care that much. Like, it's so funny. I think her daughter's name was Parker, and Parker's like, so you're gonna change your last name? Like, she's just like so, I think, modern woman about it. Like, okay, girl, like, it's your last name, take it back. Like, she just doesn't seem very phased. And Sutton's very emotional, and you can tell that Sutton wants her daughter to lean in to how emotional this is for her, but her daughter, like, it does not compute because she's like from a different time period where like women keep their last names all the time, and sometimes it's like, why do you even want a husband's last name, you know? And so I thought that was really funny. But I will say that I'm gonna give Sutton a relatability point here, because in this process, in her confessional, she talks about how being a woman in her 50s, so much has changed in her life. It's like being an empty nester, and then there's hormones, and it's really about trying to refine who you are. And ultimately, I feel like that's what these points are really for. They're for when women are owning their narratives and really combating things that make them seem unrelatable with the relatability. And I feel like for Sutton to be so raw and say, you know what, like it's a time in my life where I have to find myself again. I don't know. I really appreciated that honesty. I felt like that was cool of her, and felt honestly one of the most grounded versions of Sutton we've seen. Like she's stripped and she's like, my life has changed and I need to find who I am. And I think that's really beautiful and feels authentic and real. And I don't even know if that's just because she's a woman in her 50s. I feel like women go through these changes all the time, and I'm going to give Sutton a relatability point. She doesn't get them often, but she did get one. We move into this hot girl summer Hampton trip packing, okay? So Dorit is packing alone. She's kissing her Hermes Kelly bags. She's like, oh, I love this. Kyle is packing with her assistant, Jen. And she's like, is this hot girl summer? And Jen's like, I thought hot girl summer was 2 years ago. When like actually hot girl summer was 7 years ago. Like, and I'll never forget, there was a moment, and it was 2019 because it hadn't even been the pandemic yet. And I was around a bunch of people and I was telling them like, oh my gosh, it's hot girl summer. And I used that phrase and no one knew what I was talking about. And I remember being like Meg the Stallion, and no one knew what I was talking about. And I was like, okay, am I ahead of the curve? Like, why does no one know what I'm talking about? And then 2020 came and the Savage dance was like all over. And then everyone was like, oh my God, Meg the Stallion, hot girl shit, real hot girl shit. Oh my God, we totally get it now. We totally get it now. And then it turned into hot girl summer. And then all of the brands kind of took that from Megan, which I hope she trademarked it. And then it turned into brat summer. And I feel like when Jen was saying, wasn't that 2 years ago, she actually meant that brat summer was 2 years ago. They're all off. And the problem with this is that then Kyle's like, yeah, but Rachel thinks it's now, so I'm just going along with it. And it's like, Kyle, you don't know either. Nobody knows. And you guys should all just be like, we're not cool. We don't know. You should just own that. But instead, she's like pretending like, oh yeah, I know, but Rachel doesn't, so I'm going along with it. And it's like, none of you guys know because you think it was 2 years ago, and it was actually 7 years ago. So stop. Rachel's packing, and she talks about that she's like never not in heels. And I was like, oh, Rachel Zoe must be short because she's always talking about wearing heels. And so then I went to go look up her height. I thought she was going to be small, like Nicole Richie, like, you know, like 5'2", 5'3". And then I was really surprised to learn that Rachel Zoe is actually 5'8". So she's just like clomping around in these heels all the time. And I think I've never loved someone more because I'm also 5'8", and I like being tall, but I always feel like when I'm wearing heels, I'm like 6 feet tall. I'm like, oh, is that too tall? And Rachel's over here clomping around in 6 feet tall heels. So if Rachel Zoe doesn't mind, I think I no longer mind. And I also might be in my big heels in honor of Rachel Zoe. I think I'm inspired now. So the ladies start leaving for their trip. They're in the LAX luxury terminal, and the flight lady greets Kyle, and she goes, hi, Mrs. Richards. And like, she's not Mrs. Richards. Like, her mom was Mrs. Richards. Kyle is Miss Richards, which is, you know what I mean? Umansky Richards. I don't know. I just thought that was funny. And Kyle doesn't correct her. She's just like, hi, like being gracious. And this part made me crack up because Kyle and Dorit haven't even made up yet, but they're going on vacation together. And it's just like the three of them traveling, like Rachel, Dorit, and Kyle. And like going on vacation with someone you hate in the moment is so Housewives coded. Like it would never happen in any other instance unless maybe you're on like a sports team. And so it felt so classic Housewives, and I was cracking up. And then like Dorit's late. She's like, oh, I'm late because of PK. And it just made me realize, like, I feel like everyone in the Kimsley household is a little dysfunctional. They're a little dysfunctional, eh? Like, PK is late to pick up the kids, and Dorit is late. And I just feel like Dorit, I love her. You guys know I've been, like, Team Dorit all season. But I feel like in this episode, it really showed her lack of accountability sometimes. And I feel like if Dorit really wants to see change in her life, her taking accountability and not always being worried about how someone else can be wrong, but instead almost getting to a point of neutrality when other people are wrong, and then focusing on what she can do in herself, I think Dorit would be more happy. She just needs to take one more beat, one more evolution of her being like, you know what? I don't care. This is me. That's in my opinion. That's just my opinion. So Amanda is getting ready for her manifestation moment party, and she is clear that she didn't invite Dorit, and she says that she didn't invite Dorit, but then she felt bad, but then Dorit's in the Hamptons, and so she manifested Dorit being gone. And I actually feel like if that were true, my opinion on this is I feel like if Amanda actually would have been the bigger person, invited Dorit knowing that that was the right thing to do to not leave someone out, but then getting what her heart desired by Dorit being on a trip, it actually would have felt more like a positive manifestation. But to be like, I wasn't inviting her anyways, and then she can't go, and that's manifestation, is like, that's not true. Dorit is hilarious though. She's like, I manifested not being invited. And Dorit's killing me with these like manifestation one-liners. They're funny. And the Hamptons, Rachel is with her sister Pamela and her friend, and everyone is husbandless. And Rachel's like, oh my God, everyone's divorced. And Kyle's like, well, I'm separated. Like, she makes it a point to say that she hasn't filed yet. And I don't know if she ever will. Erika and Bose ride together to go to Amanda's party. And I feel like Bose and Erika, I want them to be my like older girlfriends. Like, that would be the pair that I would want to do like a quarterly dinner with. Like, they both are just so no bullshit, so honest, so true to like what they think. I like the vibe of both of them. And then both of them together, I wish they were best friends. I wish that Bose and Erika could be BFFs, but I get it. Erika's got her own stuff going on. But I like that they respect each other, and I like their vibe together, that they feel like power women. Everyone arrives to Amanda's house, which is Kyle's old house, which is Sutton's old house. Everybody's lived in this house. It's like Sisterhood of the traveling houses in Beverly Hills. So everyone arrives, and Natalie's first. She looks cool. I like this Natalie girl. We don't know much about her, but I like her. And then Sutton and Kathy arrive, and they talk about that Amanda's doormat is crooked. And it just, I got flashbacks. I got flashbacks of Real Housewives of Atlanta. Do you guys remember? They were on a crash trip. And this was like this was season 10. So it was when it was like Marlo, Portia, Nene, Eva, Marcel, Cynthia, Candy. They were all in the show. And Marlo is like kind of poking at Portia for not telling her that Kim Zolciak recorded that there were roaches in Nene's bathroom. And Portia's like, I'm trying to stay out of it. And Marlo's like, well, I didn't tell you that. I didn't like your welcome mat. I thought it was too small for your doorway. And then they have a whole conversation about like the welcome mat being small and Cynthia having IKEA furniture. And like we need to pull that out of the archives. Like it's so funny. So I love when there's like doormat shade, because it's so petty and innocuous, and it's like, who cares? But it also is like just funny. And then it's funny because when Bose and Erika walk up to the house, they also comment on the doormat, because the doormat says Money, Queen, and Company. Bose is like, this is screaming nouveau riche. But I'm not even gonna lie, like, I did give Amanda a like us point, because when Kathy and Sutton walk in the door, Amanda tells her kids, this is Miss Kathy and Miss Sutton. And if your mom's friends aren't Miss or Auntie, which I don't think she knows them well enough for them to be Auntie, if you don't, greet people Miss whatever, like, I don't know, I can't help you, because that's how I was raised. It's like everyone is Miss whoever or like Auntie whoever. And, Amanda is from, I think, Oklahoma. She's from the South. So I get that. And she did get a like us point for that. I think that's good manners. While they're getting ready for this lunch, Amanda and Bose have a little bit of a face-off. And it's really because, like, Bose is just, I think, authentically asking what everyone wants to know. She's like, did you invite Dorit? If this party would have been next week, would you have invited her then? Like, what's going on? And so I'm going to give Bose a like us point, because I feel like Bose was asking the questions like us, like that we all want to know. And then Erika sits down and she's like, everyone went to the Hamptons without me. And she feels like a little left out. And I felt bad, because then we cut to the Hamptons, and the Hamptons dinner looks amazing, like way better than the lunch, no offense. But Kyle and Dorit are so happy. They're like excited. They have like a cute little friend moment, because they're both so excited. They're like, oh my God, we never left the house before. And then Rachel like stunts on them a little bit, because like her life in the Hamptons is fabulous. And like Donna Karen shows up, and everyone's fangirling about Donna Karen. And Rachel's like, Donna Karen is New York City. And Donna Karen's like, I might move to Beverly Hills or Malibu. And like, like everyone's losing it. It's so cute. And I felt like I liked this moment, because Rachel's talking about all the designers that were nice to her when she was just like a baby girl, like 22 years old in New York. She was, Michael Kors was always nice to me. Donna Karen was always nice to me. And I like that. I think that's cool when people become really successful and they remember which people were nice to them when they were young, and for all intents and purposes didn't even have to be nice to them. Like, I know I definitely remember those moments of like A-listers who have been kind and warm to me when they didn't have to. And, people remember things. Back to Amanda's party. And you guys, I don't dislike Amanda. I just am confused, because I don't know if she has friends. Because based on this dinner party, it's telling me, like, is she doing this with her friends? Like, I don't feel like that's what friends do when they hang out. Like, I do feel like you could have friends that you talk about intentions with. I have friends that I do that. We go to dinner and we'll play like we're not really strangers, and we'll talk and we'll have deep talk and get to know each other. And I feel like that's even different than what was occurring here. Like, it was so structured and so cold. Like, even Bose is like, oh, this is like sex without foreplay. Like, we're just jumping in to what we're trying to manifest. And I feel like, it's funny because like Erika's cracking me up because Amanda's like, okay, we're going to manifest. And Erika goes, I might need to try this manifestation stuff. Like, I have court cases and I need to win. You guys, Sutton is actually going to get a second like us point because I like that at this table for lunch, she starts giving Amanda advice. She's like, let me tell you how to fix it. Like, you have a problem with Dorit and I'm going to tell you how to fix it. And I like that Sutton kind of like stepped in, strong-armed. This is a Sutton that we haven't really seen very much. She's like, let me tell you. She kind of like gives her a little Southern older woman, let me tell you something. And I felt like that felt really real. So I'm going to give Sutton a like us point for that. And the thing is like Amanda gets really good advice from Sutton in this moment and she does not take it. She's not trying to hear it. She's like, it was just something so innocent. And like, I feel like by her saying it was something so innocent, it actually is claiming admittance. And so I don't get why she can't take it one step further to be like, yeah, it was innocent. I said it. I didn't realize it was out of bounds. It was a throwaway comment. My bad. Like, that's such an easy thing to do. But she's doubling down that she's like, I don't agree with the premise. It's like, the premise of what? That you said something that someone else didn't like? God forbid her feelings get hurt, Back in the Hamptons, Kyle can't help but to ask more questions about Dorit and Dorit's relationship with PK. And Dorit's talking about her divorce with Rachel's friend, and Kyle jumps in and she's like, well, I had the conversation with Mogo. And then we get like a little cut of Kyle and Mauricio talking. And you know what? It made me realize like they do belong together. They're so nosy. Like, they're both like chismosos talking to each other on the phone about PK and Dorit. And it's like, you guys need to be talking on the phone to each other about fixing your marriage. Don't like Mauricio needs to be dealing with work. And then if you two are going to be on the phone, it needs to be about like, how can we keep our marriage together? Not about PK and Dorit. But I think, you know what? I think that Kyle kind of likes being in the middle of it because it gives her something to talk to Mauricio about. Have we ever thought about that? Has anyone ever said that? I think that's why she likes being in the middle. Because if she's not in the middle, then what are her and Mo going to talk about? They get to talk about PK and Dorit, and it keeps them close. I think it's messy. And I think that's a part that we're not considering, actually. I'm gonna keep an eye on that. I like in this conversation that Rachel comes back with some words of wisdom yet again. She says, I don't think that women should shrink for men. Plus one like us point, because amen, sister. That's exactly right. Women should not be shrinking for men. She has a whole like soliloquy that like she's trying to speak in general terms, but really she's talking about herself. But the thing that is applicable to all of us is that women should not be shrinking for men. Sister Rachel gets it. But then I felt like what was so interesting is because Rachel says this, it has Dorit reveal in her confessional that PK used to say, I won't be Ken Todd. Now, Ken Todd is Lisa Vanderpump's husband. She says he used to tell her, I won't be Ken Todd carrying a dog around with me. Rude. Ken is a great husband to Lisa. Lisa Vanderpump is such a great businesswoman. And the fact that PK was hating, even though that's supposed to be his friend, I think that's a real problem. And I actually think maybe he never said it on the show. Maybe he implied it, though. I don't like that, actually. I think that's sad. I think that him wanting to keep Dorit small when he married her and she wasn't, I think is a little sad. And I think that's revealing. And I like that Dorit shared that information. Now, the editors are shady because when we get back to Manifestation Camp, they add sipping sounds of the drink at Amanda's party. Like, everyone's like it's all quiet. And again, we get back into Sutton and Bose really trying to be honest with Amanda, but she was not trying to hear it. And in this moment, Sutton says, like, Amanda, you can't be such a wimp. And Amanda, in the most wimpiest voice back, is like, don't call me a wimp. And Erika's like, if she can't handle being called a wimp. And then we get a montage of everyone on Housewives calling each other, see you next Tuesdays. Like, everyone just calling each other names. It's terrible. And then Amanda's like, well, it's clear that these women just want manifestation of chaos. And it's like, yeah, girl, welcome to the Real Housewives franchises. What you think this is, girl? Okay, that's a wrap on the episode. Let's get into the scoreboard. So Rachel and Sutton were really soaring this episode, but Bose and Amanda, they also snuck in there and got some points. So Rachel got 2 points with 1, her saying no petty mean girl shit, and 2, saying that women shouldn't shrink for men, amen sister. But Sutton also got 2 points, and this is the first time that Sutton has ever had more than 1 point in an episode, and her points were for talking about women in their 50s changing, and her being real by giving Amanda advice. Now, Bose gets 1 point for asking the questions that we all wanted to know. And Amanda gets points for introducing Miss Kathy and Miss Sutton to her children. I like that. So, here's the scorecard now. Erika, Jayne, and Rachel lead our housewives with 50 overall points. Bose is in second place with 40 overall points. Kyle and the Friends of are tied for third with 35 points each. And Dorit, Amanda, and Sutton bring up our bottom with 30 points apiece. That's our housewife scorecard so far. Who do you think will make it to the top of being the most relatable housewife of Real Housewives of Beverly Hills? And do we think that relatability makes for a better housewife? Or do we like them completely unrelatable? We'll find out as the season continues, and we'll continue to keep score leading into the reunion. Thanks so much for listening. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, share at LikeUsPod, at Erin Jones-Wesley on all socials, and we'll catch you next week. Thanks. Bye.